What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. How y'all doing? What's going on, everybody? Hey, Topher Tries, thank you for the 5 months. What up, gang? Hey, Dab Gang with the raid. Hope y'all had some fun. How y'all doing? Happy early Easter. Hey, happy Easter to you too, Crumb. 2 jobs, exactly. We're coming in hot tonight. 2 jobs. Let's go. Let's go. I just changed the check-in. Sorry, the check-in was old. I gotta change the slides too here. Let me make sure the slides link is correct. 1 second. Let me fix this up here. All right, check-in is good, and slides are now good as well. What's going on, everybody? Happy April Fools. Didn't have the spoons to come up with a prank. Ooh, Dad, we did a mock time technical test with real questions from a technical interview. How'd that go? You're gonna get a coffee API from me with a brand called 21. Hey, let's go. How'd the mock interviews go? How did the questions go? They go all right? What's going on, everybody? Mess with the proc file. A. All right, we got a question of the day, folks. Before we get into it, we got a question of the day. The question of the day. I want everyone in chat to throw it in there. Would you rather all traffic lights you approach be green or never have to wait in line again? What would you prefer? All traffic lights are green or never wait? Green or wait? Green or wait? All green. I feel like the all green would be more practical, but I feel like I would get great enjoyment in life of having never to wait in line. Like never having to wait at Six Flags, never having to wait at Disney, go to a restaurant, never have to wait in line again. This is a hard one. I think I'm gonna go never wait in line again. But I think we got a good mix here. This is a good one. Normally it leans one way or the other. Normally it leans one way or the other. I think this one's oh wait, no, it's tipping. I think it's a never wait. I think people are going wait more than green. I don't drive. I haven't been driving since the pandemic, but even then when I was in Boston, I took the T or subway. So I don't know. I don't drive that much, but I do wait in line a lot. What's going on, everybody? Alrighty, tonight we got some stuff. Tonight is more of a practical, getting our hands dirty type of class. We're going to actually get on Remo in a little bit to get some hands-on practice. Tonight, we're doing a little bit of celebrating. Got 2 jobs. We're going to talk a little bit more about CRUD. We're going to talk through the to-do list, and then you are going to start working in groups on a to-do list. So, fun times, lots of stuff to get into. Lots of stuff to review, to talk about before we actually start getting our fingers on the keyboard tonight. So a lot of folks have asked for a little bit more practice time, a little bit more kind of working with others time, because guess what you're going to be doing on the job, folks? Working with others. So let's go ahead and get into the mix here a little bit. I'm going to jump right to the slides. And Lauren B with the Pokemon card. Let's go. Let's pull up the Pokemon card list real quick. Let's do that real quick because we're at the beginning. Fox, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Need a YOLO tonight. Thank you for the hydration, Fox. All right, we got the Pokemon card list up. I got it on my end. All right, Lauren B, this is for you. Let's go ahead and do this one. So let's go ahead and we're at 73. So let's go ahead and do a inspector here. Let's pull up the console. Math.seal, math.random, and we're gonna do it times 73. Cool. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Oh, I gotta go to Little Leon. Here, I gotta go to Little Leon. Here we go, Little Leon. All right, we got the math.seal, we got the math.random. All right, 3, 2, 1. 45. All right, what do we got for 45? Ooh, a warp energy. Nice. It's a nice warp energy. I like that card. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to remove the warp energy on my side. Let's go ahead and delete that. Remove the row. Cool. Warp energy coming your way. Congratulations. Alrighty, folks. Got a lot of stuff to get into tonight. Lots of fun stuff to get into tonight. Somebody said, what am I drinking? I got the big boy. I got the big water tonight. Got all the hydration this evening. Is there a card you don't like? Not on that list. I only put bangers on that list. I got plenty of other cards, but all the bangers are on that list. What's your favorite card in your Pokemon collection? My first edition Bulbasaur, for sure. Opinions about automation QA Selenium with Java. Never touched it, so I don't have any opinions on it. Depends on what you're trying to do. App, Eternal Student with the hydration. Cheers to you. Only Banger should be the name of your OnlyFans. There we go. Thank you for the hydration. Alrighty, folks. Let's keep pushing here. I want to get into us working on some code as quickly as possible this evening. Want to get our hands on the keyboards here and keep it moving. All right, I'm gonna chill the music here, and we're gonna talk about a few things real quick. Do we have any questions? I always like to open up with a little bit of questions. Is there any JS environment that doesn't give access to web APIs? Well, truly the only web environment that gives you access to web API, well, in the what context that we've talked about it, has been the browser. So if you're talking about like the DOM and things like that, the environment that gives you access to those web APIs is the browser. Node won't give you access to those things. Leon, if I'm starting from the start, should I still submit the assignments? Watch our crash course class and then catch up from there. So you missed like 3 or 4 actual classes after that catch up. So watch the catch up and then watch those classes and do the work for those classes. So it's not too much there to get you up to where we're at right now. Leon, I want to show just one element in my EJS instead of the loop, but I want to change the one shown on click. Where would you set the counter for that? I want to show the one on click. Depends on how you're keeping track of that click. Is that click something that you're storing in your database? Is that click something that you're storing client side for the moment? So what you're going to see with my to-do list, I'll show you my to-do list real quick and tell me if this is close, Izzy. With my to-do list, I have the ability to check it in and out. And you're going to notice I have a count here as well. So when I uncheck it, my account goes back up. So we'll talk about how to do that this evening, because this is just a value here. And this click event is actually changing something in my database. So maybe that might be helpful. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're asking for here, but feel free to clarify a little bit more. My back end and front end for CRUD is almost done. Started it last night, so not terrible. Hey, let's go. Merch drop, working on it. Won't be for a little while, though. If I'm behind in classes, how do I do group work? You show up, you ask questions, you help Google, you help dig through. So you might not be doing all the heavy lifting, but you're there to do some of the lifting. So even if you feel like you're behind, that's the best time to do group work. A lot of folks have already tackled the to-do list that we're going to work on this evening. They're going to come because they need the spaced repetition. You're going to come because you need to learn, right? And so even if you feel like you're behind, it's perfect time to get your fingers on there. NPF Dev, we're going to get into the IDs next week. So right now we're kind of grabbing stuff from the DOM, and that's probably not going to be the best way to go forward. So we're going to go ahead and get into like using the IDs and being able to have stuff talk to multiple different collections. It's a little bit more. Cool. Did we get 25 pull requests? I think we did. Let's take a look. I think we got 25. Let's see. I'm looking on my screen over here. All right. So the to-do list. Sorry, the Simple Express app submission got 40 pull requests. Now I gotta see if all these 40 are actual code or somebody was just putting like a README and making a pull request, right? But if we got 40 actual here, then the Simba Mashi Cam comes back for our stream on Tuesday. So on Tuesday we'll have the Mashi and Simba Cam back because you did it. Mine's legit. Yeah, so we got 40. So that's a good chunk. I'm excited. Alrighty. Arabog, hey, thank you for the 3 months. That's wild. Oh, 4 months, sorry. And the gift sub too. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. People really want a YOLO points, huh? Should we do a YOLO? You just want to do a YOLO before we get into it? Should we do a YOLO? Just a quick 1 or 2? All right, let's do a quick 1 or 2. It's been a while since we've done a YOLO. All right, let's see. Math.seal. Math.random. We're going to do times 2. Let's make sure it works. Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to do this one right here. Let me set up the YOLO. Let's put a little bit of music in the background here. A little bit of fun. Hey. All right, let's go ahead and set up the prediction here. All right, the prediction is 1 or 2. You're gonna have a minute to get your submissions in. All right, prediction started. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. This is the first YOLO we've had in a while, and it might be the one for the last. Dab stopped you from breaking your entire laptop. That's awesome. All right, folks. 1 or 2 here for the YOLO. Oh, people are really going in on this one. Oh. Wow, almost 200k points up on either side. Over 200k points on the other side. Yo, violent tonight. Look at all these YOLOs. Oh, it's 300k on one side. One or bust. Oh baby. Oh baby. Let's go. We need another Jeopardy YOLO. Hyperventilating here. All right, folks. Here we go. It's for all the marbles here. I saw all those points you were YOLOing. All right. 3, 2, 1. 1. 1 has it. One has it. No. That's a bingo. All right, let me choose the prediction outcome here. Choose outcome. It was 1. 1 won the prediction here. And we have completed. Who YOLO'd the most? Who YOLO'd the most? Mayan, thank you for the hydration. 7K. All right. 19K. What? 30K. 2. Daddy Yankee with the 42. What? What? My only regret is I did not bet more. I lost 80K last YOLO. Alrighty, let's get into this, folks. I'm glad we're having a little fun before we get into it. All right, so tomorrow is a project night. So we always have our Friday sessions. Typically we do some interview prep. This Friday, we're just gonna have a project night. I want folks to work on their full stack apps. So if you don't finish the to-do list tonight, your project should be the to-do list tomorrow. If you do not have the to-do list to finish, you should work on a different project. So think of another full stack app that you can create and spend some time tomorrow night working on it. So we're gonna have a bunch of folks over on the Remo, just hanging out, working on some projects. Come by with some code, get some help, work together. And that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. CRUD review will be on Monday. So we're going to try another Monday stream. Let me chill the music here. We're going to try another Monday stream, folks. So Sunday is Easter. And so we have a lot of folks that might be celebrating the holiday. And so don't want to have to interrupt all those celebrations. And so we're going to go ahead and do a Monday class for our CRUD review. So we're going to go through from beginning to end through a full application together. And so it'll be a normal kind of like office hours, but more of a review, kind of similar to our crash course where we're going to cover everything that you need to know for the back end. That way we can start pushing through next week. Next week, we're going to add authentication and we're going to add a level of architecture on top of our applications, getting us ready to start building some really meaty applications. So CRUD review is Monday because Sunday is actually a holiday for a lot of folks. All right. Microsoft sponsor stream is going to be on Tuesday, April 13th. I pushed it back because I feel like we need a little bit more time for everyone to get to where we need to be because we want to be doing authentication during that class. And so I feel like we need another week. Right? I feel like we need another week to get fully there and to feel really comfortable. And so we're going to push that to the following Tuesday. So next Tuesday is the is the stream. I feel like this should be an April Fool's joke, but it's not. It really is being pushed. All right. So I just want folks to feel a little bit more comfortable, to get a little bit more practice in, and then we're going to do the sponsored stream. All right, last class we talked about the success my students were seeing at Resilient Coders, the fact that we had a 94% placement rate, 92K starting salary, jobs in the most abundance we've ever seen them, and now we got some 100 devs news. And so you know what, I'm gonna give you a 10-second warning here. We need a little music. We need a little hypeness for the next slide. We need a little hypeness. Okay, so 5 more seconds. Hey. Let's go. 6 people Yo, B, thank you for the bits. 6 people already, folks. Folks have already gotten jobs in the U.S., in Ireland, in England, and now Brazil. What? What? Let's go. We're a little bit more than halfway through the program. 6 people already got jobs. Let's go. Reggie, thank you for the bits. I appreciate you. And the beautiful thing is the jobs have been good. Like the jobs have been good, but the jobs have been like impactful. And so we had 2 folks that got jobs today that announced, or at least told me today that they got jobs. First was Hennessy, who's already posted in this celebrations channel. So if you're hip, you know that this was a shout out to Hennessy. What? Hey, Indifferent. Thank you for the gifted subs. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. 6 tier 1 subs. Hey, let's go. Thank you so much. So that was a shout out to you, Hennessy. If you're listed in, that was for you. Hopefully, hopefully you got it. And so we got Hennessy, and then I got permission. Wolfpack of One sent me a really nice message. And I was like, can I please share this with everyone? And they gave me permission to share. So I'm going to share it with y'all. Wolfpack of One is always in chat. You've seen them. And they sent me this note. And so I shortened it a little bit here just to make it fit on the slides. And I didn't include everything. But I just wanted to take some time to like talk about how real this can be and what it could be doing for you. So Wolfpack of One said, I will earn twice as much as I did before the pandemic. They'll get a bunch of other monetary benefits. They'll have a dental and health plan, not only for them, but their family, a laptop, and they're doing it for a company that's 100% remote in their country of Brazil. And it seems like it's going to be a great place to work. Thank you so much. What? Let's go. Let's go. Doubling a salary, getting the bennies for you and your family, it being remote and in your country. Let's go. Let's go. That's what we're talking about, folks. This is what I want. This is what I want for all of you. And you're getting close, folks. You're getting close. You can taste it. You can taste it. BB Tone, thank you for the bits. Ghoulie, thank you for the hydration. Cheers to you. Pi, thank you for the bits. Whew. That's wild, folks. You put in the work. You lift some boats. You lift some logs. And I'm going to have a slide for you. I want a slide for all of you. You're here right now. I want a slide for you. So congrats to Hennessy. Congrats to Wolfpack of One. Congrats to everyone that's got a job so far. And congrats to the people that are putting in the work knowing that they're going to get there too. This is wild. It's wild. All right. Not too late, folks. Not too late. You can get on this train too. I know the back end can be a little bit difficult. A lot difficult. I know that these moving pieces are hard to catch. But we're going to get in the work. We're going to get in the spaced repetition. And what I want from you is 2 things. To come to Remo. Because when we go to Remo, we lose about half of y'all. So when we go to Remo, I want you there. Even if you feel like you're too behind. Even if you feel like you don't want to talk. Join a table. Don't turn your mic on. Just sit there. Enjoy. Soak up the knowledge. Listen to how other people are working through the problems. All right? It's not too late. So 1, join us on Remo when we get there. 2, ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. When things aren't making sense, get on Discord and ask for help. Those are the 2 things I'm asking you to do. If you're here, you're putting in this work, you're putting in this effort, please ask for help and actually come join us when we practice. Because working with other developers is really important. and you're going to see how people approach problems differently. And that's going to help unlock something that you might not have seen before. Because if you're just looking at my code, you're just looking at Dab's code, you're only seeing our perspective. Everyone else is going to approach problems in a different way. They're going to ask questions that you probably wanted to ask yourself. And so please, 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 please ask questions on Discord and come join us on Remo. All right. It's not silent if I cry into my pillow. No, absolutely not. If you just want to come in, get your pillow out, just scream into the void while you're on Remo, it's totally okay. Yeah. Where is the appropriate place to post questions on Discord? We have a Node help channel, a JavaScript help channel, and a general coding help channel as well if it doesn't fit into any of those buckets. Purpose, you want to join a team that has somebody that knows what they're doing then. That way they can help walk you through it. Because here's the thing. If you think you know how to write the to-do list and you feel like you've gotten a lock on it, I guarantee if you work with somebody that doesn't know how to do the to-do list, you're going to walk away knowing way more than when you started. Even if you think you're already done, working with somebody that doesn't know how to solve it is going to unlock all of these neural connections in your brain so that you never forget that material and you actually learn it better. So come on through. Come on through. Yeah. All right, folks, not too late. Remember, we're not shooting for perfection here. We're not shooting for industry best practice. We're just trying to get stuff to work. Just trying to get stuff to work. Okay? We'll have a whole month of best practices, clean code, all the wonderful stuff. But tonight, you're gonna get stuff to work. Cool? All right, we're talking about the back end, folks. And so tonight, we're using Express, and we're going to use Express to build a to-do list. So what we're going to do is we've been going for about 30 minutes. We're going to talk through Express. We're going to talk through the application together, and then we're going to join Remo. And so tonight is about building. So we're going to talk through it, right? You're going to walk through it. And then we're going to build. So that's the goal. I heard secondhand that you said refactoring is for closers. Yeah, I say that a lot. Refactoring is for closers. The optimization comes after you've gotten everything built. Ooh, with that hype train. Let's go. All right, folks. So we talked about Express. Express is our web framework for building our what, chat? What does Express help us build? What does it help us build? What does Express help us build? Yeah, blah. Nice. Express helps us build out our API. What it does is it does all the heavy lifting so that we don't have to muck around with HTTP and the core HTTP modules. Express kind of abstracts all that heavy lifting out for us and enables us to just really focus in on our CRUD API and the API that we'll be building tonight, right? So Express is fast. It's unopinionated, meaning you don't have to worry about what you're using with it. You can bring whatever you want to the table and use it just fine. It's minimalist, meaning it really just focuses on covering that heavy lifting of the HTTP stuff for you. Comes with a bunch of methods that make that easy to do and a bunch of middleware, the stuff that sits between the request and the response. So Express is really doing a lot of heavy lifting for us. But first, before we get to Express, we want to make sure that we talk about how the internet works, and we want to talk about our API. So very quickly, just for those in the back, right? Those in the back, the way the internet works, we've talked about this plenty of times. We have our client-side device, and our client-side device makes requests to our server. All right. Now, there's some code running on our server that can hear these requests and knows what to do to generate a response. What is the code that's running on our server that listens for the request and then figures out what to do as a response. What do we call in that code? Yeah, telescope. Yeah, lost. Yeah, the DNE. Yep. Exactly. It's our API. So the code that's running on our server is our API. And the type of API that we're really focused on building has a name. The API we're building is all set up so that we can create stuff, read stuff, update stuff, and delete stuff. So we're going to call that a CRUD API. So if we can write some code that sits on our server that enables us to create, read, update, and delete, we're in a really good spot. Cool. Now, there are 4 main methods that we've learned so much about so far: post, get, put, and delete. Typically, when you're posting something, you're making something, you're creating something. When you're getting, you're reading, you're asking for something. When you're putting, you're updating something, and you're changing or tweaking something. And when you delete, you're removing something, right? Alrighty. Now, some other pieces we need for our applications are Mongodb. MongoDB is great because if you know how to interact with what, you can use MongoDB. Yeah, if you know how to use objects, you can use MongoDB, because MongoDB just has collections of documents, and our documents are just objects, key value pairs. Cool. Cool. We also used EJS, and we were using EJS as a way of taking our data, putting our data into a template, and then our EJS template spits out what, chat? What does our EJS template spit out, chat? Yeah, it's going to spit out some good old HTML. Good old HTML. Nice. And here's kind of the traditional setup of our application so far. Our client-side device makes a request, and that request makes it to our server. Our server has our API that's set up to here: get, post, puts, and deletes. No patches yet. And that code, once it hears a get, a post, a put, or a delete, all right, it knows what to do. Right? If it hears a get, it goes off and do something, right? If it hears a post, it goes off and does something different. If it hears a put, it goes off and do something else, all right? And if it's a delete, it goes off and does something else. Now, the cool thing is we get complete control over what happens when these different requests are made. We don't have to do anything specific. Oh, no. We don't do anything specific. But we can do whatever the heck we want, right? We can do whatever the heck we want. Once we hear a get, we can do whatever we want. Once we hear a post, we can do whatever we want. Once we hear a put, we can do whatever we want. Once we hear a delete, we can do whatever we want. But often when we're getting, we're probably going to go to our database, get some documents, hand them into our EJS template, get some HTML that's going to go back to the browser. Probably when we're making a post, we're probably going to take some data and put a new document in one of our collections. Probably when we hear a put, we're going to go to one of our documents and change something about it. And probably when we hear a delete, we're going to go to our collection and delete a specific document. Cool. Alrighty. So that's the goal. The goal tonight, however, is to build a to-do list with a full CRUD API. So let's go ahead and start talking about our to-do list. And let me show you the one that I've built already. Now, I've actually already shared the code for this. So no cheating. The code's there if you get really stuck when we're on Remo. Like if you get really stuck, then I want you to use the code I've shown you. But that's only if everyone at your table can't come to an agreement about how you would do something. All right. So here's my to-do list. I can add stuff to the to-do list. Cool. You can see that when I add stuff to my to-do list, it tells me how many things I have left to do. And I can actually mark stuff as complete. So if I click on it, you can see that it's marked as complete. And you can see that my total left goes down to 2. And I can also delete stuff if I want it to as well. So I can go and delete that tofu. And there we go. So I got a lot of stuff going on here. I have the ability to create. I have the ability to read. I have the ability to update. And I have the ability to delete. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too wild here. Right? There are definitely things you could do to extend this. Like Telefang said, like modifying an item. Like you could do that. Mine didn't do that just because I already had an update, which was the completion. But if you wanted to take this to the next level, then modifying would be something that I'd work at. But I would save that for the end. All right. So let's go ahead and talk through my to-do list. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk through my to-do list. What am I creating with my to-do list? What am I creating, chat? What am I creating? Yeah, I'm creating individual items, right? Individual to-dos, individual things that are going to go on my to-do list. Cool. So if we know that we're going to add individual things to our to-do list, let's go ahead and think through how we might do that. So we had a form. So here's my form. My form has one input. So what type of request am I going to make from my client-side device? What type of request am I going to make from my client-side device? Yeah, I'm going to make a post. I'm going to fill out this form. I'm going to call it A. And when I submit this form, I'm going to make a post to my server. Now, what on my server hears that post? Yeah, my API. There's some code running on my server that is my API, and it hears the post. So I'm going to need something like app.post. And how do I know what the route of the post is? Like what's the route that goes here? Where do I get that info from? Close. Yeah, the action that was on this form. Whatever the action was on this form, that's the route I'm going to use. So whatever the action was, that's how I tie it to the actual form. Cool. So if we actually looked at my code, like if we looked at my EJS, you're going to see my form has an action of add to do. That's how I listen for it when I get to my actual API. So you're going to look at the action on the form to tie it to your post. Cool. So now we have a post that's listening for that specific form. And when it hears that post, chat, what's it going to do? What's it going to do when it hears that post? What should we do? We just noticed a form was submitted. What do we want to do? Yeah, we want to go to the database. All right, whatever you want to do. We want to add it to our Mongo database. Exactly. So we're going to say, all right, go to the database. Find our collection called to-dos. And once you find that collection, we're going to do insert one. And the cool thing is I can put anything I want inside this object that's going to go into my Mongo database as a document. right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, I want two things to go into my database here, right? I want two things going into my database. I want each document to have two things. Anybody know what two things I have in each of my documents? You saw some of my functionality, so I might give you a clue. What two things am I putting into my documents? Ooh, yeah, Imran. The text and if it is done. So I am putting in rec.body.a, because remember this name on this input was A. So I'm going to put something here that's like text, and it's going to be whatever was in that form. And then I'm going to hard code complete and set it equal to false. So I'm going to have two things. I'm going to have two things for each of my documents. The text that came from the input and whether or not it's completed. All right? And then once I'm done putting that document into my database, I'm going to tell my application to do what, chat? I'm going to tell my application to do what? Reload. Cool. Because we know the reloading will trigger a get. Cool. All right, so let's think through this real quick. Let me show you my Mongo database here. So you can see, let me refresh. You can see that I have two objects here. My one object has a thing of get bread and a completed of true. And my other one has a thing of get oat milk and a completed of false. All right. No EJS on posts? Yeah, because we're creating something. We're not reading. So when we're doing posts, we don't care about EJS. The EJS really is only going to come in when we do our get. That's really the only time we're going to see the EJS. Yeah. Bald bearded builder with the raid of 66 folks. Hey, let's go. What's going on? How y'all doing? How was y'all stream? Welcome everybody. Sup? What's going on? How was your stream? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are in the middle of creating a to-do list with Node, Express, MongoDB, and a little bit of EJS. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope y'all had a good stream. Indifferent A, thank you for the gifted sub. Welcome. Triple B, welcome. We're getting all the good stuff tonight, folks. It was great. We raised over $1,000 for teachers doing STEM stuff for girls. That's wonderful. That's awesome. That's wild. A stack. That's really cool. What was the is there a specific charity or was it a specific educator you were working with? That's pretty cool. We'll take that. I like that. That's good. Charity streams, let's go. 3 different teachers. Word. All right. That's pretty cool. Well, welcome. I appreciate the raid. I thank you for coming after doing all that good work. We're celebrating tonight. We got 2 more folks' jobs. So we got 2 more folks with jobs today. One individual here in the States and another individual in Brazil doubled their salary. And so we've been running a free 30-week software engineering boot camp. So if you've ever been interested in learning to code, you're more than welcome here in our community to do that. Chop, hey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. Can we, I need to set up like a shout out command. But can we put Bald Bearded Builder's link into chat so that folks can follow if they want to? If we can do that, thank you. Chop, thank you so much. To do shout out command, exactly. Alrighty, folks. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. That's wild, everybody. I love this community. Hey, we appreciate that. Thank you so much, Chop. Let's keep pushing here. We got our to-dos. So we can see our Mongo database here. We can see that we have 2 documents. All right. We have our 2 documents. And you can see that I'm storing 2 very specific kinds of data here. I'm storing not only the thing I need to get done, but also whether or not it's been completed. Cool. So creating, we know that we're going to have an app.post that hears when we submit our form. When it hears that we submitted our form, it's going to take the data that was in that form and add that to a document in our Mongo database. That document's going to have 2 things: the text that came out of that form and whether or not that to-do has been completed. Yeah, hold on. Can I do it? Can I do the hold on, let me do it real quick. Boom, there we go. Shaboomafoo. There you go. Doing good things. $1,000? That's wild. Everybody go give them a follow. That's wild. Shout out to that. Big ups. All right. So we have talked about creating. Let's talk about getting. Let's talk about getting. What are we doing, right? What are we doing to get? What type of request are we making that's going to enable us to go get stuff? What are we doing here that's a get, chat? What's triggering our get? Try not to get got. It's April Fool's. Everyone's getting got. Yeah, when we go to this page, right? If we typed in our localhost URL, or if we refreshed, that's making a GET request. Just the URL or refreshing, right? That is making the lovely GET request. All right, so chat. What does our server have to do? We've just refreshed the page. We've just made a request to our server. That's a GET request. We got our API code running on our server. It hears the app.get. It hears it on the main route. What does it have to do? What do we have to do, chat? We just heard the GET. What do we got to do? Talk to the database and see what's good. Exactly. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to our database first. We're going to find our collection that is our to-dos. What is the method we can use to find all the documents in that collection? What is the command to find all of... Yeah, it's not that. It's not that hard. Yeah, it's fine. So we're going to do .find. That's going to find all of the documents in that collection. And now we have all of these documents, which are really just objects, right? So what's the data structure that can hold all of these objects for us? What? Another raid? What? This is wild. RWX Rob, hey, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you. How y'all doing? How was your stream? Ball Builder and their lovely community just rated us, and now we got the twofer. RWX Rob, how was your stream? That's wild. We putting some water out there today. I don't know what it is. Hey, welcome everybody. Hope y'all doing well. Hope your stream went really well. We are in the middle of building a full stack web application that's a to-do list. And so we've been talking through how we're going to build that application together. We're celebrating a lot of hype today. Bald Bearded Builder, they just raised a fat stack for girls in STEM. That's wild. That's such a cool thing. We're celebrating over here that we got 2 more folks jobs that have been following along with our free 30-week software engineering bootcamp. So welcome. Today's a good day. And then we got the raid. Indifferent, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Rob. Hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's just a prank. Everyone it's pranked. Everyone's rating. Well, hey, I appreciate it, everyone. It is joyful to see you all here. Welcome. If you want to learn how to code, we got a wonderful community here. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Sundays. We're taking Sunday off. We'll be back on Monday though. So welcome. Hope you enjoy. Hope you hang around a little bit. Tonight, we're working through a to-do list application, and then we're jumping over into our classroom. And so our classroom is on a platform called Remo, where we're all going to get together and build together and build the to-do list that we're talking through. So welcome. If you're ever interested in a free coding bootcamp, you can do !100 devs here in chat, or join us on our Discord, !Discord. Welcome, everybody. Rob, I hope the stream went well. Alrighty, folks. So we handled our post. All right. We handled our post. Now we're trying to handle our GET. We said that our users can make a GET request when they typed in the URL or when they hit enter, right? Like when they refreshed, right? They typed in that URL or they refreshed, that made a GET request, right? Now, our API heard the GET request, and now we're saying, all right, once it heard the GET request, it's going to go to the database. It's going to go to a collection called to-dos. It's going to go and find all the documents in our Mongo database. And once it has all of these objects, what was the only data structure that we had so far that can hold all these objects for us? What was that? Our toasters, exactly. Bill Gates toasters, it's an array. So we have this lovely method to array. Hey, anonymous gifter. Thank you for the 3 gifted subs. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Anonymous too. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Hope you're enjoying. Anon, let's go. Exactly. All right. So we heard the GET. We went to our database. We found the to-dos collection. We found all the documents in that collection, and we turned it into an array. So now we have this array of objects. Chat, where do we hand this array of objects off to? Where do we send these objects to? Where do we pass these off to? Yeah, we're going to pass them off to EJS. So we're going to pass them off to our render. We're going to render our EJS, and we're going to pass in that array that we got. So the array of all our objects is going to be passed to our EJS. We know that when we pass in that array of objects to our EJS, eventually EJS spits out what, chat? What does EJS spit out? Spits out our HTML, exactly. So that we know that this is going to spit out HTML. And we are going to respond with that HTML. We're going to respond with it, right? And so that's wonderful. That HTML goes back to our client-side device, and we are able we were able to see everything that's here on the to-do list. Now, I did something a little bit different. I got a little bit more conditional logic in my EJS that I want to show you real quick. I want to show you something cool. We're just going to talk about it briefly. I just want to show it to you. It's pretty cool. So, what I did is when I got all of my items into my EJS, right? I have this lovely for loop. It's going to loop through each item that came back from the database. So right now I have 2 items that came from the database. So my EJS this loop's going to run twice. It's going to create an LI each time. Right? It's going to create an LI each time. And look at this if statement here. Chat, what is this if statement doing? Somebody take a look at this and tell me what this is doing. '86, yeah, we're using Node with some EJS right now. Yeah, it's gonna check to see if that specific item is completed. All right, if it's completed, because if that item is completed, then we're gonna put a span that has the class completed. But if it wasn't completed, then it's just gonna be the normal span. So the cool thing here is I can control how this shows up, right? Look at my get bread span. It has the completed class, whereas my get oat milk just is the regular old span, right? And so that completed class is what's handling all the strike through. But the reason why get bread got the completed class and get oat milk did not was because if we look at our EJS, we had this conditional. In my database, right? In my database, get bread what had the completed property of true. Like if I go back and I look at my Mongo database, right? Get bread has the completed property of true. Right? Now, if I look at get oat milk, completed property is false. So when I am using my EJS, when I'm doing my for loop, I can actually look to see if the completed property on that document is true. If it is true, then we put a span with the completed class. If it's not true, like if it wasn't completed, we just put the regular old span. That's pretty nifty. So now we can actually start looking at the data we're getting back, that document we got back, and we're using the different properties here. We're using the thing property to be the text, and we're also using that completed property to figure out whether or not that document, whether or not that thing was actually marked as complete. Cool. Is it hard to find vegan bread? It's not really that hard. You just got to look at the ingredients. And sometimes you got to look up the manufacturer because people do some wild stuff. How did you make the task completed? Let's talk about that. So, chat. When you see my to-do list, and I click on get oat milk. Boom, I have clicked on it. What do you think happened there? What do you think happened there? Yeah. There was a click event. Right? There was a click event. That's our client-side JavaScript. That click event heard the click, and it made a fetch to our server. And it made a specific type of fetch. It made a put request. It wanted to update something, right? So what it wanted to update was that there is a document in our database that has the thing of get oat milk. What we wanted to do is we wanted to find that document in our collection and change it from false, if we refresh, to true. So it's actually that click. It's that click that makes the fetch. And that fetch is a put that says change that from from false to true. It's an update, right? Now, if we go back and look at it, if I click again, what do you think that is? If I click again, it's the exact same thing, but instead of it going from false to true, it's going from true to false. Right? And the cool thing is we can talk through how I'm able to know what it currently is, but that's all it is. It's just two different click events, and one hears the click and changes it to true. The other one hears the click event and changes it to false. What if you have two items called get oatmeal? Right now, the way that I have this coded, it would only change the first one. That's it. When we get to next week, we'll figure out how to add another layer to this so that we're not just taking what's in the DOM and using that as the source. We're going to be able to do something else that makes it so that if we did have multiple of the same, it wouldn't just be changing one. Yeah. Cool. So we made a GET request, which enables us to see everything that we see here. We made a POST request by submitting this form. Let's talk a little bit more deeply about that update, right? Let's talk a little bit more deeply about this update. But before we talk more deeply about this update, seeing the code about how it's actually working, we must take a break, right? If you're new here, we take a break at the top of every hour. We want to be software engineers for the rest of our career. We want to stay healthy. We want to give our hands a rest, our fingers a rest, and eyes a rest. So we are going to take our break, and we're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. Please take your 5 minutes. If you're able to, please get up, hydrate, do what you got to do. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock here. Boom. Going to put some chill music for you. Please get the heck up. Go. Get out of here. Skedaddle. Oh, Jimmy added 2 minutes to the timer. So this is going to be a 7-minute break, folks. Enjoy. Jimmy must have got all that YOLO money tonight. Hazard High, love this stream. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to come back from break and really dig deep into that update. So don't worry, the update didn't make sense. We kind of just talked about it quickly. We're going to go deeper. We got to go deeper, folks. So take your break, please, and come on back. Perfect time. Food just got here. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I'm getting mozzarella sticks. That's the biggest time ever. Welcome, everybody. I know we had 2 big raids tonight, so if you're new here, welcome. We love having you. Thanks for hanging around, for sticking through this. We are about halfway through a 30-week boot camp. If you have any interest in following along with us, there's still time to catch up. We just did a complete crash course of the first half. So if you join our Discord community, !Discord, there is, once you agree to the rules, a follow along materials channel. In today's follow along materials is the link to that crash course. So feel free to watch that crash course, catch up, and then join us live. We're doing some review tonight On Monday, we're going to have a full review class of everything backend. So if you did the crash course, plus you come join us on Monday, you're good. You'll know everything you need to know to kind of keep pushing. Cool. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us a follow. That way you can see when we go live. You don't ever miss a class. Appreciate it. Hennessy in the building with the hydration. Cheers to you. Noah, cheers to you for the hydration, but also cheers to you for life. Congrats on the new gig. Really proud. Spliff, we're doing a review on Monday. So Sunday is Easter, so we're not going to do our normal office hours review on Sunday, just because it's the holiday. So we'll do our full review on Monday. Yeah, no office hours Sunday because of the holiday. Uh, 42, you can do pretty much any JavaScript you want inside the EJS. Leon, my apologies. I was having buffering issues earlier when I asked where I discard. Just post your struggles in the regular channel. Catch up. You're good. You can post them in any of the help channels. People are more than happy to help you, even if you're behind. So don't be afraid to post in those channels. If you're struggling, got the Struggle Bus channel. But yeah, just post your questions. And you'll find in House Hamilton, there's folks that have joined from the beginning. There's folks that have joined very early on, folks that have joined recently. And so House Hamilton can be a really great source of support for folks that are newer too. Blazer, hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate the help. Thank you for stopping by. What's up with the DS store files? Those are like hidden files that come with Macs. So if you're ever like creating stuff on Macs, you're gonna see those sometimes. They're hidden files. And so every once in a while they get pushed to GitHub or something like that. 42, I just used the for loop because I'm trying to keep my syntax consistent across some of the examples that we've seen. But you can do pretty much whatever you want inside of those little carrots. It doesn't hurt anything outer space. I try to delete them, and Imran has a really good idea. You can add them to your git ignore, and that way you don't have to ever worry about it. Hi, Leon, I'm confused on the job search. Should I check out old videos for the job search? Yes. So we have a whole class on kind of like starting the hunt. And so I'd go back and watch that old class on starting the hunt. All right, folks, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Will we go over Python or Django? No. We are here to get a job as quickly as possible. And the fastest way to a job is full stack JavaScript. You only need to learn one language. You can use it on both the front end and the back end. So that's what we teach. Where should I look for issues when an app works on local but doesn't on Heroku? Already whitelisted all the IPs. Make sure that you don't have a stuck port. Make sure you're using the process.env port, and then check your logs. Check your logs. Make sure there's nothing funky happening. If you check the logs, you should be able to see what error is happening. Yeah, so if it's working locally and you've already done the IP address, then check your logs. If you have an error that looks weird, you don't know how to solve it, put it in the node help channel. How do you move the env file over to where, Bob? 30 seconds, folks. So you can have a script that does it, Bob, but most folks do it the way that we showed last class, which is where you just do the Heroku set config, and then you put the key value pair. You can also do it directly on the Heroku GUI and settings as well. So the idea here is that you can do it one at a time. There's a way to do it with a script, but I only ever have a few things in there that are secret, and so I just do the set command. It's actually in our slides for today. If you go to one of our last slides, you'll see the command. All right, folks, come on back. Come on back. Hope you had a good break, a lovely extended break as well, thanks to Jimmy. Why do some boot camps teach Ruby on Rails with JS? Because that's their prerogative. Sometimes certain cities have more Rails opportunities, and so that's why they started. Also, a lot of the boot camps that are older and started back when Ruby on Rails was more popular really just don't want to update. I mean, Ruby on Rails is still a really good language for the web, but a lot of the older ones are just they don't want to update. Yeah. Alrighty, folks, let's come on back. Let me chill the music here. I agree, Drew. Yeah, Rails isn't that hard to pick up once you know like how apps are built, right? Like once you understand that it's just a CRUD API and then all this middleware that you're using, like once you understand that, you can pick up anything else. Yeah, it's not that hard. Alrighty, folks. No, I want garlic fries now. Alrighty, here's our to-do list, folks. We've already talked about the get, the post, our creating, our reading, right? Now we're going to talk about updating. So we noticed that, I'm just going to give it a refresh real quick. When we click somewhere, right? When I click on the get oat milk, boom, you can see I get that strike through. And my total to-dos has been updated, right? Now, the interesting thing is when I click on Get Oat Milk, what I have done is I have made a put or an update request. I have made a put or an update request, right? So I have some JavaScripts. Here is my JavaScript here to click on that span, right? I have a loop here that's going ahead and adding an event listener to every single one of those spans. So every single piece of text, right? Get bread, get oat milk, gets an event listener added to it, right? So I'm adding event listeners to each of them. And I have two. You'll notice I have, if the span has the completed class, I have a different event listener, mark uncomplete. And if I just have the regular span, I have mark complete. So what I'm doing is you'll notice that when my spans are completed, they have that class completed. But when they're first added or when I mark them incomplete, they no longer have that class. So let's go ahead and look at the get bread. You can see that it no longer has that completed class. All right. So the cool thing here is in my EJS, I said if the item was completed, like we're looking at the document that's in our database, if that document has completed of true, the span we put into the DOM, it has the completed class. But if it wasn't true, right? If it did not have the class, it was not the completed of true, then we just put the regular span. So the beautiful thing here is that based on what's in the document, I'm either going to get a span with the completed class or I'm going to get a span without the completed class. There's only two ways that it could happen. Only two things that could happen, right? So when we look, here you can see that this span does not have the completed class, and this span does. And where that class comes from is actually the EJS. I'm either adding a span with the completed class, or I'm just adding a normal span without it. And that's based on whether or not the document is actually complete, if it's true or false. So the cool thing is, I know that my spans are either going to have a class completed, right? And we're going to see the strike through, or they're not going to have the class completed and they're just going to be a regular old span, right? So when I look at my JavaScript, what I did is I actually just set up two different event listeners. One that's on regular old items that have just the regular old span, because those are the ones I'm going to want to mark as complete. And then I have a different selection for the spans that are already completed, because if I click on those, I'm going to want to uncomplete. I want to unmark them, right? And so what I wind up having is a mark complete function and a mark incomplete function. So if I go ahead and I look at mark complete, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fetch. It's going to be a put, and I'm going to grab that text, right? So if I go here and I click on get bread, I'm going to grab the text get bread. I have just grabbed that text. I'm going to make a put to my server. My server is set up to hear that mark complete put request, right? Here's my mark complete put request. It's set up to hear that request. And when it hears that request, it's going to go to my database. It's going to find my to-dos collection, and it's going to find one document that had that text. So right here, it's going to go into my documents, and it's going to find the document that has the item from JS property, right? It's going to grab that get bread. So it's going to find the one document where the thing equals get bread, right? So if we go ahead and we look at my Mongo database, here's the thing property of get bread, right? We found the document that has the thing property of get bread. And what I'm going to do is set completed to true. So all I did is I found the get bread document and I set completed to true. Then when I'm done, I respond back that I've marked it complete, and my JS triggers the page to reload. And when the page reloads, what type of request do I make, chat? What type of request do I make when the page reloads? We make another get, and this time we're going to go back to the date. So we're going to make a get. Let's look at our server. We're going to go to our database. We're going to go to the collection of to-dos. We're going to find all the to-dos. We're going to put them in an array. However, this time, this to-do now has the completed of true. And since that document has the completed of true, when it gets passed to my EJS, the EJS is going to see, oh, that item has completed of true. Since it does, I'm going to make the span that says get bread have the class of completed. And that's why when we look in the browser, we now see that it has a strike through because it has that completed class. Kate. Woo, thank you. No worries. Hey. So does that strike through come from CSS? Yes. If we look at our CSS, I have a completed class of gray and the line through property. Stoutfellow says, sorry if this was asked. I came a little late, but what are these symbols? You're asking about the carets. This is these carets are the syntax of EJS. It's what enables us to plug in JavaScript into what looks like HTML. The cool thing is we can embed JavaScript in something that looks like HTML, and then this template spits out HTML. Now, when you just have the simple caret modulus sign, that's just like a regular piece of code. When you have the equal sign, that's kind of just like a variable, basically. You're plugging in a variable. Yeah. It's our templating language. So we've talked about the templating language for the past couple of classes. So if you're having a little bit of trouble with the EJS, definitely watch some of the maybe one of the classes from last week. Yeah. Cool. This is some bare bones CSS. I could appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So let's walk through the update one more time. Let's draw it out. Let's draw it out. So, how does a user on their client-side device make an update request? Chat, how does a user on my to-do list make an update request? What's the thing that they can do? What's the thing that somebody can do with my app to make an update request? Yeah, they can go ahead and click on any of the to-do list items. So any of my to-do list items, right? Either of these clicks will be a update request, right? If I clicked on get bread, that's an update. If I click on get oat milk, that's an update. In chat, what am I actually trying to update when they click on those pieces of text? What am I trying to update when they click on those pieces of text? Yeah. I am trying to update the document in my Mongo database that represents this piece of data. I want to update that document to have a completed property of true or a completed property of false, because I know that if it has a completed property of true or a completed property of false, when it comes time to my get, when it comes time to pass this into EJS, I can have one of two options. I can have a span with a completed class or a span without it. Right? All right. All right. So the idea here is when somebody clicks on the get bread, they've clicked on it. What that's going to do is the JavaScript has an event listener. That event listener makes a fetch. And that fetch is a put. And it sends along with that put, get bread. That put makes it to our server. That server has some code, app.put, that hears that request. When it hears that request, it goes to the database. It finds our collection of to-dos. It goes ahead and uses a specific method called update 1. And the thing it's going to update is the text that came from here. So it's going to go ahead and find a document that has the thing property of get bread. Once it finds the document that has the thing property of get bread, chat, what does it do? It finds the thing that has the thing property of get bread. What does it do? Yeah. It changes the completed value to true. Right? So it changed that completed value to true. So you'll see a set. And the set will be on complete. And we're going to set it equal to true. Now, the cool thing is, since it's set to true, when our put is done, what do? Once the put's all done, Brian, once the put is all done, what do? Yeah, baby. We reload. And when we reload, we make a get to our server. And now the get's going to go to our database. It's going to find these two documents. Except now one of these documents has the completed property of true. And the only reason this really matters is because of our EJS. In our EJS, it's going to check. It's going to say, hey, does this document have a completed property of true? And if the document has a completed property of true, what changes in our EJS? What decision do we make in our EJS? If there is a completed property of true, what decision do we make in our EJS? Yeah, Sheenan. We either add a class of completed or we don't. So we add the class of completed in our EJS if this was true. If it's not true, it won't add that class. It'll do the else. All right? But since this is true, we know that our EJS will put this span instead of this span. Yeah? All right. We have talked about our gets, our posts, our puts. What is left, chat? What is left? Dominoes. Exactly. Our delete. Our delete's all that's left. Chat, how can a user make a delete request on this server? Yeah, they can click this old trash can here. So if a user comes along and clicks the trash can, right? When they click that trash can, what hears the clicking of the trash can? What can hear that click? Is there something on the server that hears the click, or is there something client side that hears the click? Yeah, some client side JavaScript that hears the click. And once the client-side JavaScript hears a click, it makes what type of request? Makes what type of request? Yeah. It uses a fetch to make a delete request to the server. All right? So if we look at our code, my client-side JavaScript, here's my delete request. It's a fetch. It's method delete, right? And I'm going to pass along whatever the text was. In this case, the text was get oat milk. So wherever I see item from JS, I know that that was get oat milk. If we look at my server.js file and I go to the delete here, you can see that I'm going to go to my database, going to go to my collection of to-dos, and I have this handy dandy delete one where you got to find a document that has a thing property of get oat milk. It's going to look at that request body that came through. An item from JS is get oat milk. So we're going to find a document that has a thing property of get oat milk and delete that bad boy. And once we delete it, right? Once we delete it, we know that our JavaScript tells us to reload. And chat, for the last time, when we reload, what type of request do we make? We make a get. And when we make that get, There's one less document to get. So we see one less thing in our to-do list. Beautiful. Questions while we're here? Questions while we're here? Leon, why two separate put requests to cross out and uncross a list? I could have done some conditional logic, but I really wanted to show you that you can have multiple requests. So what they're talking about here is that if you look in my client-side JavaScript, I have a mark complete function and a mark incomplete. So one is going to mark an item complete. The other one's going to mark it incomplete. And they're two different fetches. So one makes a fetch to mark complete, that's a put. And the other one makes a fetch that's mark incomplete, that's a put. And if you look at my server.js, I have two puts. I have a put for mark incomplete, and I have a put for mark complete. So I wanted to show you that you can have multiple puts, multiple posts, multiple gets that are all going to use different routes to distinguish what's happening. One goes ahead and sets it to true. The other goes ahead and sets it to false. What shampoo do you use? OGX products. Hashtag sponsor me. What is request.body.item from JS pointing to? Yes. So when we make a request to our server, that's this put. If we look at the original request, here it is, right? Well, it's actually this one. Here's the request. We're sending along with that request a request body. And there's going to be a property on that request body called item from JS. That is actually just the value that was in the browser. So that was the get oat milk, right? So we went into the DOM and we grabbed that text get oat milk. So item text was get oat milk. That means item from JS was get oat milk. And it was part of the request body that was sent when we made the fetch. So the cool thing is once we're in our server, we can say, hey, look at that request body that came with the fetch and grab me whatever item from JS was. And we know that that was get oat milk. Cool. .42 said, what is this sort? So chat, right now, we have a really interesting problem. Right now, we have a really interesting problem. And that's that if there are multiple items that had the same value, like if we had two get oat milks, our code really isn't set up to handle that. Right now, it'll only delete or modify the first one. So how do I know if I want to go from top to bottom or bottom to top to find that first one? That's what the sort means here. The sort's saying if there were two things that were the same, grab the first one from descending order. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. I want to show you a little bit of fanciness here. I got a little bit of the async syntax here because I wanted to do something fancy where I was passing along the items I had left. And if we were doing it the old school way, we wind up kind of like nesting or doing some weird promise chaining. So I did throw a little bit of the async syntax in here. So you can take a look at that as you're working on your to-do list. Something to point out. Other questions here. So that is what makes you only affect the first iteration. Exactly, Home Alone. Are we still at the point where knowing the general ideas is okay, but not knowing the syntax? Absolutely. If I had to do this straight from memory, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. I just know that I have good templates. I've done this a lot. I know most of it, but I'm still going to copy and paste certain pieces. And if I was like really going hard, I might add it to my Anki and stuff like that. So it's totally okay to understand just the concept. I want you to understand creating, reading, updating, deleting. The syntax you're going to get by practicing tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Did you get all of these through documentation? Yeah, pretty much. I've built so many of these that I just have pieces all over the place that I put together. So how much do pro devs code from scratch and how much is copy and pasted from past projects? Depends on what you're working on. A lot of stuff you're not really reinventing the wheel. You're using other documentation, other packages, things like that. A lot of times you're making tweaks here and there. It can be a lot of copy and paste some days and very little some other days. It really depends on what type of projects you're working on. Yeah. The async was what was not commented out. So here's like the old school way of doing the then chains, and here's the first time I've shown you the async syntax on the server side. So it's there if you want to play with it. There is a vid somewhere where senior dev Googled stuff they were working on like 7,000 times in 1 week. There was a really good blog post that was like that too, where they kept track of every Google search they did, and it was pretty wild. There's so many. Oh yeah, generators are like another thing too. That's a cool future thing. Alrighty, folks. What we're going to do is we've walked through the project. You've had some time to digest the project. Now it is time to build the project. And so you have the key steps listed in the slides. You have my solution code already if you get really stuck. But what we're going to do now is we still got about half of class left. We are going to jump over to Remo, get into tables, right? Get into tables and actually start getting into the muck with this stuff. You have to get into the muck. You have to work with other developers. You have to get your fingers on the keyboard, even if you feel like you have not a damn clue what we've just talked about this entire class. You need to get your butt over to Remo so you can sit down with somebody that does know what they're doing. Or sit down with 3 people that also have no idea what they're doing, but they're going to look at my code. They're going to piece together their own code. They're going to be on Google, and you're going to do it together. You can lurk, exactly. Turn off your mic and cam if you want to lurk. But you have to start building, and you have to start working with other developers. So we're going to move over to Remo. I don't care if you don't understand anything I just talked about this past 2 weeks. I don't care if you're super triple OG prepped. You've built your to-do list 15 different ways. I want you on Remo. Come, build, learn, extend. If you already finished it, great. Join a team with other folks that have it. If you have no idea, join a team that has folks already on it. So let's get over to Remo. We'll take our normally scheduled break in like 20 minutes or so. But let's get over to Remo. I'm going to see you all over there. Start clicking, start going. Everyone join us on Remo. Even if you're just going to lurk, even if you're just going to sit there and not say anything, it's all right. Come on through. You got to start working. We're going to work together. Let's go. Remo link is here in the slides. You can also do !classroom. I will see you all over there. Come get help right now. Let's go. You're going to build a to-do list with your table. See you all over there. It's all right. Come on through. See you all on Remo.